something.
Multi-kill.
Ja, 600.
Hi, everybody.
Perfect. Humiliation. Multi-kill.
Vyglądało 8000 godzin. No, mám tolik účtů, že s tím nevím ani co mám dělat.
Hi, everybody.
Both me and Nolan are not very familiar with the 350Z or this type of software. A couple of the tuners that we were supposed to go to had some unexpected things come up and we were a day late. So our buddy from Royalty Performance, Justin, is logged in onto TeamViewer remotely, and he is now going through the setup of our tune right now to where we'll have a nice solid base and we might even be able to get some pretty good power pulls. That's the actual base fuel map. The smoother that is, usually, it's a good representation of how smooth the car runs. I've seen quite a few that are real jumpy and people might say that, yeah, it makes power, but the drivability isn't so good. Oh, nice.
Yeah, start taking out fuel out of the entire map.
So, till it idles at 14?
You're adding. This is a really cool process.
That's why I was saying it's really important we have an up rev tuner, because they'll know the software. Like Justin, he'd probably have it halfway done by now.
Yeah. What was that? Yep. Pull it over.
Yeah.
Oh.
Can you follow us to a gas station? Great. And it's hard to go into first too.
It's at 0, dude.
Oh my god. Clutch is on the ground, bro. God, it's just
I'll be back.
no stress here.
Oh, green.
Oh my god. I'm just like smashing the clutch on it.
What was that? Oh.
Yes.
much white smoke.
It's oil out of the turbo. Because our oil drain,
That looks like cool.
it's running fine. Yeah, it's still cold. Look,
Yeah.
it smelled like oil to us.
No, I think yeah, but it looks like a blown head gasket.
It's our blow by. Because honest to God, I don't think it's draining out of the turbo correctly. Because we're at the very low part of the oil pan. And the drain sits. Sits right level with the motor, and I seriously think it's backing up into the turbo, and as soon as I lift, all that shit gets back. Yep.
Are you ready for this?
Yep.
Is this ready for this?
Am I?
Perfect. I'll be back.
We must push them from our lands.
Ready for this?
I don't think so.
In a pack of wolves, it's the strongest wolf that walks last.
There's the oldest, and then
I
the
just
middle
think
is the
that too.
sick ones, which makes sense for us
I
too.
think it's.
And then the leader is actually in the back watching over the whole pack.
The wolf.
Alrighty guys, we're rolling out.
Oh man, you can smell that other car. All right, here we go.
Hi, everybody.
Che picture dáš mi dáš to si masakr, týpek. Nebo co? Tak jo, mám nastavit vole skákání na kolečko nebo co, ty vole, na dejpléra.
We will drive them from our lands.
I'll be back.
2 weeks, we put together 2 turbo 350Zs.
Yeah.
And now we're straight up street sharking. Good for the team.
Uh-huh. Can't believe we're on the road. I see that needle jumping.
Is it?
Yep. Shit. And we have an engine light.
I don't want to alarm anybody, but we're getting crank sensor issues.
Copy, keep us posted.
Can you guys still drive when that sensor goes? To a point.
To a point, yeah.
You guys look hard as from back here, I'm not gonna lie.
We feel pretty hard.
Yeah, we feel pretty hard.
But this fool wants something?
It's so ridiculous.
Down on power? Yeah. Well, let's keep driving. Hopefully it clears up like it did that one day.
The one thing I'm most worried about is definitely the clutch. I feel like it's given us problems this whole time, and if that fails, I know we can still drive the car, but if we come into traffic, it's going to be a nightmare.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping we don't have to hit in traffic. Otherwise, we're definitely going to make it.
I don't know. I just hope we make it. Do you think we're gonna make it?
We're going to make it, bro.
All right.
For sure.
All right.
I'm just hoping we make it at this point.
Mm-hmm.
The heat is, that's honestly, that's what I'm real scared of.
It's pretty hot right now.
Yeah, it is. And we're not even in the desert yet. So we replaced our first crank sensor about, I don't know, 30, 40 miles in. And the idea was that in the past, every time we replaced the crank sensor, the car runs great for like at least 40, 50, 60 miles. So we're like, well, worst case, we just replace crank sensors, 60 miles at a time. We replaced the first one and nothing changed. So the plan right now in this fine O'Reilly's parking lot is to rewire the signal wire from the crank position sensor to the ECU. So we're gonna try to reroute it creatively and see if we can sort this out. ECU. And we just runs green. So we replaced our first crank sensor about, I don't know, 30, 40 miles in. And the idea was that in the past, every time we replaced the crank sensor, the car runs great for like at least 40, 50, 60 miles. So we're like, well, worst case, we just replace crank sensors, 60 miles at a time. We replaced the first one and nothing changed. So the plan right now in this fine O'Reilly's parking lot is to rewire the signal wire from the crank position sensor to the ECU. So we're gonna try to reroute it creatively and see if we can sort this out.
We're not even close to Albuquerque yet.
Morale is low within the group. Been in this parking lot for 5 hours. Zach rewired the crank positioning sensor, rewired the signal wire, which didn't do anything. Then we rewired the ground, didn't do anything. Then we cut out the piggyback box altogether. Turns out, we think when it was wired the first time, it was wired wrong and it fried the box, so not Jim Wolf's fault. So we took that out, and now we're running on a stock tune, which is a little bit dangerous, but if we behave ourselves, we should be able to get to Albuquerque in 10 hours.
The main thing right now is just making the cars drivable, so when we get to Albuquerque, we can get to our friend Dan's shop. Him and his boys can help us tune these things to perfection, and then we'll be able to hit the track in the afternoon.
And into the night.
And into the night, yeah. We're at a point where it's either we go for it, or we just go back home. That'd be really lame.
Yeah, we're not taking it now.
Yeah.
We're getting there.
It's probably the smart thing to do. But,
Yeah, but it's not the fun thing to do.
But we're not smart, so let's do it. My car broke down.
We made it a few hours, but we started getting some more hesitation, but not really the same. It sort of feels like detonation. Not entirely sure. We're on the side of the road right now. We're gonna try to make a decision. I'm not sure what we're gonna do.
I think we should drive it into the Grand Canyon.
Hey guys.
It's 4 in the morning. We're on the side of the road. We're still like 50 miles from Flagstaff. So we're like 6 hours away from Albuquerque still. We're gonna get there probably at like noon, the rate we're going. And then supposedly we'll have the cars tuned at whatever. I don't know. I'm like, this isn't a bit. I'm legitimately angry. I mean, what were we thinking? What were we thinking?
Humiliation.
I think probably.
I'll be back. Humiliation.
I'm dead.
All right, we are here at NM Imports. We're finally gonna put our car on the dyno. We're gonna see how much power it makes. I'm really excited. I have a newfound fourth wind at this point. That was honestly the longest drive of my life. Back to the point. We're gonna tune the cars. We're gonna get our up rev system running perfectly. These guys know exactly what to do. I don't know if you guys have looked around here, but there are a bajillion Nissans, and they say they know pretty much everything about up rev. So hopefully this works out, and we can have a car that we can really put our foot in and have fun with.
Two major concerns are the stock injectors running out of fuel, and there's not a whole lot of heat management around the turbo. I personally like twin turbo kits because it keeps the heat down where the cats were. With a lot of the cheaper stuff is there isn't a whole lot of quality control. You have to be the quality control if you're gonna buy a cheap part. This is the MAF we had on the vehicle, but you can tell that this is actually probably the correct MAF for the kit, because these are the pre-drilled holes, and then there's holes drilled for a smaller MAF. Sorry.
That's okay.
We're in a time crunch.
Perfect. Humiliation. Let's get this done. Multi-kill.
Definitely not ideal, and it's a perfect example of it biting you in the ass.
I can't take much more of this. I think we're on the right track, finally.
It's hard to be hopeful
It's hard to be sure,
at this point in our lives.
But that's 3 good runs in a row with an OEM Nissan crank sensor. I'll drive it to the track, see what happens.
So after 800 miles, multiple breakdowns, and the longest week of either of our lives, we have some numbers. First, the baseline. High car started out with 212 horsepower. Low car started out with 244. We're not quite sure why we started out with a 30 horsepower difference on identical cars. Low car did have a muffler delete and a cold air intake. We don't think that that would make that big of a difference. Maybe low car, ironically, was maintained better than high car. How much power did both of these turbo kits add to our car?
I'm looking forward.
The numbers, please. Thank you, Jesse. After your eBay single turbo kit, you ended with a whopping 302 horsepower. Get a nice 60 horsepower gain.
60.
You almost killed yourself for 60 horsepower. High car with the Jim Wolf turbo kit made 334 horsepower to the rear wheels. High car started with 40 less horsepower than low car. So while low car added about 60, high car added a whopping 122 horsepower. I want to point out that both cars were on stock injectors. We don't really have a great reason for why we did that other than the fact that we ran out of time.
A production oversight.
Yeah.
Which there have been many.
We learned a lot from this episode. So, Nolan, my boy, does more expensive mean more better?
I have complicated thoughts on this.
So do I.
The low turbo kit was.
I mean, you guys saw it.
Yeah, I lost hope multiple times. Regained it though through the power of teamwork and friendship.
So,
Even just a simple diagram would have helped so much. Sorry, James, I'm gonna keep going. Like, in that regard, more expensive does mean more better. Where I'm not so sure it absolutely means more better is the end result, because we didn't have the injectors to match.
yeah, once we get injectors, we're both going to be butted up against the 400 horsepower limit for stock internals. So at that point, it's just single turbo versus twin turbo. Answer the question.
Yeah.
Answer the question.
In this regard, yes.
What are you, a politician?
More expensive is more better. For now.
You should run for Senate. Which one would you buy, Nolan?
Well, now that I know how to do it, I would get the low turbo kit again. Yeah. Now that I know it, I can do it again I think pretty quick.
I would not buy either of them. I think the Jim Wolf.
I didn't know that was an option.
Yeah, we could have put a 2J in either of the cars. We could have put an LS.
I'm gonna get those injectors on there. We're gonna tune it up. You're gonna see this baby in some Pro-Am events soon.
You're gonna drive it once.
It's gonna explode. Nope.
If you're wondering why we drove to Albuquerque, New Mexico, you will find out in the next episode, where we take both cars, both complete cars, and put them head to head. A $13,000 350Z build versus a $41,000 350Z build. It's a really, really fun episode, and it's the conclusion of this season of High Low. So make sure you don't miss that. Follow Nolan on Instagram at Nolan J Sykes. The J stands for James. Follow me on Instagram at James Pumphrey, and of course,
follow Eddie at Edward Skedward.
Yeah.
Eddie Esparza. I forget what he's at. Be nice.
I love you. Hold on. We're not gonna let you guys go without seeing a little race. So check out this drag race. The results might not surprise you. Give him a rev.